Hello and welcome to Loadstone Tutorials. The point of this tutorial is to talk a little more about points. I've talked about these in previous tutorials, but I'll do a little bit more expansion on what you can do with points other than just a name and set of coordinates. And just to clarify, in case anyone hasn't watched the previous tutorials, a point in Loadstone terms is basically any point on Earth. A set of latitude, longitude coordinates with a name is the basics of a point. But you can do a lot more in Loadstone than just assign a name to it. You can assign almost any piece of information you could possibly want about a point. And I'm going to demonstrate this in the show neighborhood function.
Say current location. Say current. Show next checkpoint. Show lock point. Show neighborhood. Button.
Okay.
Neighborhood. Navigation. Back button.
Now I'm going to get to a point that I know has other tags here.
Neighborhood. Refresh. Ash Street. 5th NBA. 8th Street. Turning Pharmacy. Bollard. 520. Park Ash Street. Belmont Street and
we have a lot of points in this particular neighborhood.
Westminster CML Healthcare. SB 8th Street. Ash Street and Prescott. Cafe.
Okay.
Hearing aids. Cafe Exotica.
Nope.
Hearing aids.
Not that one.
Brantford Street and Hairdresser. Library. New alcohol. Variety store. Bicycle parking. No. Fraser. Bench. Vending machine. Bench. Fuel. Hairdresser.
I found it
compressed
earlier.
Air, bench. Park.
It was much easier.
Bench. Cafe.
As you can see,
bicycle
my
parking,
neighborhood, New Westminster,
Denny's,
has a lot of
Butcher,
points.
National, tree,
And
Yes.
Loadstone allows you to
tree,
see everything,
post
quote
box,
unquote,
tree,
Yes.
with this
ice
function.
cream, fast
Christy
Prescott
here.
Street
Oh,
and
here we
Seventh,
go.
Ice cream, fast food, Dairy Queen, 165 meters at 11 o'clock.
Okay, so we have the Dairy
Actions
Queen.
available.
And now, when you hear actions available on a point, this is in the show neighborhood list, but the same actions apply to the find point list and also the actions on the last point menu. You can swipe up, lock. That lets you track this point. Like if this was a point we're extremely interested in going to the Dairy Queen for a nice cold cone. Yum, cones. You could lock that point, and then you could keep track of it with the show locked point button. And then
Visit website.
visit website if this point has a URL associated to it. So if we clicked on that, it would launch Safari and open up presumably the Dairy Queen's website. So that's one of the tags that's associated to this point.
Show neighborhood.
Show neighborhood, so we can show a neighborhood around that point instead of just from your current location.
Delete.
Or we could delete this. That will mark it as deleted in my copy of the database, not the worldwide copy.
Show details.
And the show details function, which is the one we're going to be interested in here. But the other actions may appear. If you have previously entered that point yourself, the update point action would appear, so you could edit the information in there. And if it has a phone number associated to it, a call action would be there as well. But we'll see what details this does have.
Point details. Neighborhood. Back button.
So
Point details. Heading.
here's the point details screen.
Primary information.
Primary information.
Heading. Display name. Ice cream. Fast food. Dairy Queen.
Okay, that's the display name. That is what will be output after all of your other output options have been selected. And I'm going to talk about that in another tutorial at some point along the way. But that is so if you're searching for a point, that's the name you would go by.
Address.
Address.
Swipe up or down to select a custom
right now
action.
that's blank,
Then
so
double
none
tap
of
to
the
activate.
address fields for this point have been implemented.
Can you fill them
Category.
in?
Other.
You can fill them in, yes. And the category is set to Other, which I think I would have set that to Restaurant or Food myself, so I'm not sure why that happened.
Name.
Name would be the name in the database. This tag may actually be taken out in the future.
Latitude. 49.
Latitude.
2119833.
So that's the latitude in decimal degrees,
49 degrees 12 minutes 43.14 seconds north.
and that's the latitude in degrees, minutes, seconds.
Longitude.
Same for
minus
longitude.
120. Accuracy. 0 meters.
Accuracy, that's the accuracy in meters, and it's saying 0 because the point as entered into the database, that means 0 would mean unknown.
Status. Public.
Status, it's a public point. That can either be private or restricted or public.
ID. 873275009.
ID. That's just the point's ID within the database.
User ID. 54,652.
Same with the user ID. It's like, for example, if someone wanted to report an incorrect point to me, the ID and the user ID would be what they would want to report.
Tags. Heading.
And tags is where all the additional information, other than a point's name and longitude and latitude, are stored. So we have
Amenity. Fast food.
Amenity is
Swipe up or
fast
down to
food.
select a custom action. Then name, Dairy Queen.
So there's
Swipe
the
up or
name
down to select a
tag,
custom source, Bing.
source.
Swipe
So
up or down to
obviously
select a
someone
custom
sourced
action,
this point
then double
from
tap to
Bing at
activate.
some point.
Website, http://www.dairyqueen.com/
So that's the point's
Swipe up or down to
website.
select operator, Dairy Queen.
Operator, so
Swipe
that
up
would
or down
be
to
the
select a
owner
custom
or
action,
whatever
then
of the
double tap to
establishment.
activate. Cuisine, ice cream.
Cuisine is
Swipe
ice
up or down
cream.
to select a custom
So
action,
that's why
then double
mine
tap
says
to
ice
activate.
cream fast food Dairy Queen, because I have my cuisine tag set to display for me.
Drive-through, yes.
Okay, so that's
Swipe
a
up or down to
value
select a
indicating that
custom
there's a
action,
drive-through,
then building, yes.
and it's a
Swipe up or
building.
down to select a selected navigation.
Okay,
Tab.
so that's the
Platform.
details that are on this point, and I'll show you how you would add those details to a point you would save yourself. So we'll back out of here, and back up once more to
Show closest point.
To a
Button.
save point.
Selected. Navigation. Where am I? Find point. Save current location.
Save
Button.
current
Geocode.
location.
Save current location. Back button.
Okay, so in the save
Save
point,
save button.
if you went down to
Primary information.
after adding
Name.
in
511 Ash Street.
okay,
New
so you would
Westminster.
basically
Text
normally
field.
add the name in here, and
Double
then you
tap
could
to
go to
edit. Tags.
tags, and then you could go down to
Add tag. Button.
add tag, which will allow you to add tag value, and you'd see that some tags have already been filled in here.
Country. Canada.
Country,
Street. Ash Street.
street.
Postcode. B3M3N4. House number. 511.
So those are some of the
Actions
address
name,
fields
city,
that have been
New
automatically
Westminster.
filled in, and the city.
Selected.
But I'll
City,
show you what
house,
you can do in the
postcode,
add tag
street,
field.
Ash, country. Add tag. Button.
So we go into here.
Select tag.
By
Back
double
button.
tapping?
Yes, by double tapping.
Select tag.
Select
Heading.
tag. So,
Name.
okay, the name of the point. That one's pretty obvious.
Note.
Note. That could be notes about the point if you had something that was relevant to this particular point that you wanted to note down.
Lactose-free ice cream available.
There you go. Things like that.
Note. Operator.
Operator, that's usually, it appears to be the owner of whoever's operating that particular point.
City.
City,
Conscription number.
conscription number. I think some addresses use that. We don't use them in Canada, so I'm not sure what the
Country.
country.
Flats.
Flats, so the range of apartments, let's say in an apartment building.
Hamlet.
Hamlet, another address field that we don't use in Canada, but I think they do in some other small places.
House name.
House name,
House number.
house number, that would be a normal address, like an apartment number.
Postcode.
Postal code,
Province.
province,
State.
state,
Street. Subdistrict.
subdistrict. I don't know why it doesn't say that word correctly.
Suburb.
Suburb.
Aerial way.
Okay, and here's some of the other obscure tags. Aerial way and
Aeroway.
airway, those are to do with airports and other things.
Amenity.
And amenity, this one is quite a common tag. So let's say if we select an amenity, it gives you a list
Select
of
tag
other
value.
choices.
Select tag. Back up. Select tag value.
So
Heading.
what is this tag exactly?
Animal boarding. Animal shelter. Arts center. ATM. Baby hatch. Baking oven.
There's a lot of values to some of these tags that we really don't know. Like, I don't know how many amenities of baby hatch there might be in the world, but apparently somebody thought this was something.
What's a baby hatch? We had to find that out when we were building Loadstone.
Yes, and I'm still not sure.
It's a place in a hospital, a designated drop-off point for unwanted babies.
There you go, something we've always needed to know, I guess.
Bang.
So there's banks
Bar.
and bars.
BBQ. Bench.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of values under amenity, and if you wanted to add this tag and there isn't the proper value, there's always an other setting where you can type in your own value. And there are
Select
dozens
tag.
of these
Amenity.
tags.
Aeroway. Amenity.
down.
Boundary.
Boundaries, building,
Craft. Emergency.
emergency.
Healthcare. Highway. Historic.
Yeah, there are between the tags and values, there are over 1,200 different settings here. So you could pretty much describe a point in minute detail if you wish to. So you can have as many or as few details to a point as you want. So we're going to back out of
Save
this
current
screen.
location.
And then the other
Back
thing
tag. Button.
that you would probably
Upload
want to do.
coordinates. Button. Accuracy. Longitude. Latitude. Status. Category.
Okay,
Point of interest.
the category. I may have covered this in the previous points, but I'll cover this again because it's something that you probably want to set on your points, is the category. So it defaults to
Select
point
category.
of interest.
Back button. Select
So
category.
here's the type
Heading.
of categories for a point you may have.
Address. Agriculture. Amenity. Education. Emergency. Entertainment. Financial. Food. Government. Healthcare. Historic. Industrial. Infrastructure. Intersection. Leisure. Military. Nature. Other. Place of worship. Selected. Point of interest.
So you hear that it's selected by default as point of interest. So when you find a category, and there's others.
Public transportation.
Public transportation.
Residential. Service. Shop. Tourism.
I would
Transportation.
categorize it as shop
Water.
myself.
Yes,
maybe not.
I would too, I think. Yeah, usually these things would be shop, or actually it might be as food.
Other.
Because there was a
Nature.
food up here.
5 of 5 bars.
Oh,
Signal.
nope.
Nature. Nature.
Let's go back up here.
Historic. Healthcare. Government.
If we were still talking about the Dairy Queen, but yeah, if we were talking about this
Oh,
particular
right. Short-term
we-
memory lapse.
where we are right now, I would classify as residential actually. That would be better. But then if you were saving a point and made a mistake, that's what the update point feature is for.
Obviously, a feature I need.
Yes, exactly.
Save current
So
location.
that's
Category.
what
Point
you
of
can
interest.
set on that. So yeah, those point tags, the categories, you can have Loadstone filter by those. So that's why you may wish to set those. And the tags are, well, as you can see, the website tag may be useful, or the phone number tag, or any number of other things that you might find useful. The cuisine tag is a good one for restaurants, because it can tell you what kind of food that restaurant serves, which can be useful when you're looking for something. And
Sean only likes burgers. He
Well,
just needs a tag, filter by burgers.
well, that's where fast food comes in. Whereas you would like the sushi cuisine, I'm sure. Yes. So that's just a little more about what you may do with a point in Loadstone.
So tag, you're it.
Navigation.
Use the
Okay.
feature. And if you have any questions, look at our website for more information. Loadstone-gps.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter.
We're
Email
everywhere.
Sean, bug him. He loves answering questions.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you again for the next tutorial. Sean, final
right.
words.
No, you'd summed it up nicely there.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.